The Atlanta Hawks had about a 3% chance of taking the first overall pick in this year's lottery, and it happened.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, what are some of the biggest what-ifs in NBA draft history, draft lottery history? This is all fun.
It's my favorite time of the year. A bunch come to my mind in recent time. The first one I will give you that always pops in my mind, and this is real what if. Because when you come to the draft, a what if can always be, what if they drafted Giannis?
Right. Yeah.
And that's hindsight. Real what if, first one I'll throw out there. What if Markelle Fultz was the player that they drafted him to be? Because Markelle Fultz was the #1 pick, and he was rightfully so. That wasn't like a bad pick or a shocking thing. If they got Markelle that we were projecting him to be after Washington, does Ben Simmons ever have his situation? Does Jimmy Butler ever go there? And then does that lead him to the Heat? Joel Embiid might have an Eastern Conference Finals appearance or a championship. There's so many different what-ifs that can unpack just from there.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. Because, I mean, they had the trade with Tatum, too. So that kind of plays a role in all this. What if that trade never happens? And then, yeah,
that's how I think about it, is more so not the Markelle thing, but if they never do trade that pick, who do they take with that #1, you know?
Well, Boston claims that they were always going to take Tatum.
Okay.
So
another trade I had I did a little research on is that the Pacers traded Kawhi Leonard to the Spurs. That one was
you had to do research on that?
No, I didn't do research on it, but like I needed like a it was for George Hill.
Okay.
But I needed like a little refresher. I forgot everything about it, but like,
what if wasn't 10 years ago either?
What if Kawhi doesn't go to the Spurs? Like that would be a very interesting thing.
He's probably not Kawhi Leonard.
You think so?
I really do.
I think Kawhi probably was still turned into Kawhi.
He developed a lot in San Antonio.
So much.
He did.
He developed a lot.
To be able to be that pick, to focus on defense, to be around those teams, to be on a championship team, a playoff team, to have that culture, definitely played a part.
How does that trade affect Timmy Duncan's legacy? Like, if there's no Kawhi Leonard, do they get
Bron?
Do they get
the Heat are able? The Heat don't lose to the Spurs.
This is why we do what-ifs. This is what we do what-ifs, man.
Does Kawhi and Paul George beat the Heat?
Ooh,
that's something else.
Yeah.
That this could have affected LeBron's legacy.
Does Paul George turn into Paul George with Kawhi on that team?
He would have been kind of complacent to not turn into that player. If
He could have got
Kawhi's
traded. Hey, we already got a wing.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny Granger went down, and that's when you kind of seen the elevation of Paul George.
Yeah, then you just slide up Kawhi now. Man. So
I like that one.
Another one, Mikal Bridges was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers.
And I remember how mad him and his family was that he got traded because his mom worked for the 76ers.
What if they kept him? He was a prototypical type of player that you wanted
Do y'all
between.
remember who he got traded? Do y'all remember what he got traded for? Who he got traded for?
No, I don't.
Zaire Smith.
Zaire Smith.
Oh man.
What college did what college did Zaire Smith go to?
No, I don't know that
Oh,
one.
the Mikal Bridges when his eyes lit up for that one.
That's a Villanova boy.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know. I don't know
Smith,
Zaire.
Texas Tech guy?
Yes.
Oh,
Let's go.
cool, boy. That was a
Come
good
on, man.
one.
Mike was over there in the corner. Please don't ask me. Please.
I was over. I was in the corner hiding on those.
My favorite one is more recent. When the 2020 draft lottery happened,
Yeah.
it was reported by ESPN's own Zach Lowe that the Timberwolves was offering that pick to people.
Yep.
The Golden State Warriors, who eventually drafted James Wiseman, was offered the pick that was Anthony Edwards. If you talk about building bridges to go from one era to the next one, if Steph Curry had Anthony Edwards on his team, that would have been, I mean, if they even just take
But
LaMelo.
what if they hold him back? What if he doesn't have the freedom?
I guess it's possible,
I
but he
think
a dog. I just feel like he would have been able
He
to
would
get it
have. I felt like he would have kind of adapted in, and then Steph is also so just, selfless. That
No. I'm not questioning if he wouldn't have adapted in like he was going to
just to become
out
that
of the
ant
league.
that we know now.
But yeah, I would rather much have him be the ant that we know now versus him fitting into the Warriors.
I think some players, no matter where they are, would turn into who they are, and I think Anthony Edwards is one of those players. And no matter where he got drafted to, he would have been.
I understand what you're trying to say, but when you have Steph Curry in the Warriors system, it's hard for me to think that you can become Anthony Edwards that we see today. It's just so much going on
I
there.
feel like it would have been a lot easier for him.
Yeah, he would have had a lot more spacing.
Because Clay's still on that team still.
Draymond
Draymond is a playmaker.
I think the only transition is just that he doesn't really get all the ball. Like, he's going to have to kind of wait for Steph to come off screens. It's going to be a lot more patient offense.
Not enough
A lot of
freedom.
times we're seeing him go. We're kind of seeing him now where he could slow it down and run the point a little bit. But I want to see him go, and I don't really think that happens with Steph.
Steph Curry has been one of the most adaptable players in the NBA history.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's adapting for an 18-year-old rookie who has to go through growing pains in order to be who he is.
He did for Jordan
Anthony
Poole.
Edwards, don't forget, Anthony Edwards didn't have the greatest rookie season.
It was solid.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm thinking about all of that. It's easy to think of it the hindsight.
Also, attached to this one though, you know who they also offered their first overall pick to? The Washington Wizards for Bradley Beal.
That would've
Oh
been,
my!
Now Anthony Edwards is still Anthony Edwards in Washington.
Oh yeah.
He's still Anthony Edwards.
Can you imagine Timberwolves? They would not have what's going on right now
Yeah.
if Bradley Beal was the guy.
But what if Bradley Beal went there?
So many teams held their horses on the Bradley Beal trade,
Yeah.
and it's kind of looking like a lot of teams are smart.
I hate to say that because I know Wizards fans is watching it and be like, we could have had Anthony Edwards, but the front office said they'd rather pay Bradley Beal $200 million.
I even think it's something less crazy from that draft. What if the Warriors just draft LaMelo?
It's
Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
What if they
I
just
was
had
thinking that
drafted
too.
LaMelo?
Or they just honestly trade the pick. You know, at this
Yeah.
point.
Pascal Siakam was rumored there in 2020 as no, that's not true.
I got another one. Luka and Trey aren't traded.
Yeah.
Luka is a Hawk.
That was one. Came
Trey
to
is
my
a
mind.
Mavs.
Yes. That would
The
be very
team that won the
interesting.
lottery and then the team that's fighting to get to the Western Conference Finals to potentially go to the NBA Finals.
Watching Luka in the East seemed crazy. If he doing what he doing in the West,
He's gonna do LeBron type
He
stuff.
was gonna
9
do
straight
LeBron.
finals.
They both just seem so perfect at the time for both of those organizations that it's hard for me to picture Trey as a Mav and Luka as a Hawk. It feels like he deserved to be a Maverick, and transitioning from Dirk to him seemed perfect. Atlanta culture with Trey and 2 Chainz and them Migos on the court side.
I honestly can't
Is it
see
now
Luka in
Luka?
another jersey right now.
Huh?
Yeah.
I can't see Luka in a different
For
jersey other
sure.
than a Maverick
Luka
jersey.
at the court side, like, what up, 2 Chainz?
You know, when Trae Young first got the Migos gave him his own chain.
Mhm.
Oh,
Ice
yeah,
Tray
Ice
chain.
Tray, yeah.
What does a Luka Doncic chain look like?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
It's like an Overwatch logo.
that now affects culture. Without Ice Tray being there, they don't make Ice Tray the gang, and they don't have that Joe Budden diss that the culture and Twitter around for. So, man, look at the NBA draft affecting all of culture.
Yeah, I guess it's possible.